Good morning, Patriot fans. Welcome to the PrimeTime Patriots podcast. Coming at you guys on a Sunday, on a game day, in which the Patriots are going into Pittsburgh 0-1, looking to get their first win of the season on the road. So let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. So the Steelers last week won in one of the most lopsided games that I've ever seen in terms of the team that should have won not winning the game. So they played the Bengals. And the Bengals beat the Steelers in first downs. They were 8 of 16, and the Steelers were only 4 of 15. Time of possession, they got killed. Total yardage, they got killed. The only reason is because Cincinnati turned the ball over 5 times. 4 picks. I believe one of them was a pick six. And there was also 7 sacks in this game, a fumble. Just all kinds of problems for the Cincinnati Bengals in a game that they totally should have won. In week 1, the Steelers were able to sneak out. Mitch Trubisky, under 200 yards, 1 touchdown, really bad completion percentage. The offense just kept getting gifted opportunities, and they only came away with, I believe it was 23-20 was the final score in a game that went to overtime. So they weren't dominating by any means, but Cincinnati just kept shooting themselves in the foot. So Steelers really should be 0-1 here. They lost their best player, too, for, I believe, about 6 weeks now. TJ Watt tore his pec. We'll get more into that when we talk about the Steelers and this defense that they have. So, first, let's start on the offensive side of the ball for the Pittsburgh Steelers and start with these receivers. They scare me a little bit. They scare me more than, I would even say more than Najee Harris, just because of how deficient our secondary is and that Najee got banged up a little bit last week. But these receivers, Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, it's going to be another big test and a big day for these young corners, Marcus and Jack Jones. I thought they played a really good receiving core in Miami pretty well. They had a couple mistakes. Tyreek Hill was really going off in that first half, but they seemed to figure that out in the second. A couple lapses like that play, the fourth down, I believe right before half as well, where Jalen Waddle scampers in for the touchdown. So mistakes, things to clean up, but they're going to get tested again here. I think they're going to step up to the challenge and get the job done, but we'll see. Their line, this is where it gets a little easier for those corners. The line for the Steelers is awful. Really, really bad, like bottom 3 in the league. It should be a good day for people like Matt Judon, Christian Barmore. They should be able to get a lot of pressure on to Mitch Trubisky in a game that they're going to have to pass a lot more. They were able to ride Najee Harris last week because they kept getting really good field position and just kind of taking all these gifts that the Bengals were giving them. If you don't do that and you force Mitch Trubisky to throw in behind this horrendous line in plays where his receivers got to get open, I think you should have a pretty good day. So just to wrap up on their offense with Najee, he got hurt last week, and a lot of people, they weren't sure if he was or was not going to play this week. Looks like he is going to suit up. He's all right. But I think he's hurt enough, especially early in the season. You're not going to ride this guy like 25, 30 carries. So I don't think he's going to really have the opportunity to affect the game as much as we really know he can. I think they're going to kind of hold him back a little bit. So jumping to the other side of the ball for the Steelers, this defense, the front 7 is their strength by far. Their secondary is actually pretty bad. But their front 7's the strength, and they just lost their best player, TJ Watt. So now it's really Cam Hayward. They got a good linebacking core as well, but there's one less. The best player, clearly, for the other team is TJ Watt. Everybody knows. And not having him out there is going to be huge. Now, you can afford to double Cam Hayward if he's giving you problems. You can afford to assign extra blockers and do certain things that you couldn't do if such a freak athlete and dominating player like TJ Watt was on the field. So that's going to help for sure. Their secondary, like I said, really, really bad. So it's really going to be a question of Mac getting protected enough to get the ball out. And if that's the case, if he can get 4 seconds, 3 seconds in that pocket, enough to deliver some good balls, I think he should have a good day. So, and this is, again, with how bad that secondary is, it's one of the few games this season where the Patriots receiving core should have an advantage. They should be able to get open. They should be able to create some separation. And Mac, if I think he looked kind of crappy last week. If he's able to really bring that accuracy that he's known for, that best part of his game, to this game in a few hours, I think it'll be pretty good for the Patriots. They should have open receivers. They should be able to move the ball down the field. I don't even think you have to run a bunch in this game, but you got two great running backs. The line's still trying to figure stuff out. It's much easier to run the ball if you're up on the scoreboard too. So if they can get up maybe one or two scores and then really focus on that running game, build it for future games, because they're in a really dark spot right now running the football, the Patriots. So they're going to have to get that rolling. So moving ahead now to keys of the victory for the Patriots. Two things here, really, kind of three. Second one's kind of big. The first one is to get Mac going early with some rhythm throws, right? So we really don't trust our line right now in terms of protecting Mac. I'm sure if you guys haven't seen the end zone angle of Mac getting cleared out, like high load by two dudes from the Miami Dolphins, it's awful. Some dude comes right at the chest as another dude sweeps his legs out. It's vicious. And, like, it's no surprise we're dealing with back problems and things with Mac already. They got to keep him protected. So I think you do got to attack the super weak secondary of the Steelers, and you do it with quick rhythm throws. You get some slants going. You get some speed outs. Some things that they might not be really pushing the ball down the field, but you're building some tempo. You're killing the stamina and the energy of the front seven of the Steelers. It's really frustrating if you're a good front seven player and the quarterback just keeps getting the ball and releasing it in 2.5 seconds. Like, there's really not much you can do. That's what Buffalo does so well. Buffalo has a really bad offensive line, honestly, but they excel at, or Josh Allen excels at, one, being hard as hell to bring down. He's such a big guy, and he can run and move around in the pocket, but he's also so good at getting the ball out really quickly. And that's just taking advantage of what you're good at. You have people like Diggs, and you have faster receivers like McKenzie and stuff that can create separation quickly and get open really fast. And you use that in conjunction with your really bad line and your great quarterback to make those plays. So I think the Patriots need to get some of that going. Find out who can get open real quick. Devontae Parker has ran a lot of slants in his career. Could make some money on that today. So the second key to winning here for the Patriots is just turning the ball over less. Basically, not at all. If you can keep it to one or less, I think you can win the game here. And don't be afraid to punt. Don't get too greedy and forceful here. If you can just punt and pin with this guy right here, Jake Bailey, I really don't think the Steelers have what it takes to drive the length of the field consistently and put up enough points to beat you. They might put together a drive or two, but I think that would be more at fault of the Patriots' defense than... I just don't trust Mitch Trubisky. And I was very surprised when you just see the score of the Steelers-Bengals game. You're like, what happened here, dude? Like, who had a big day? And you realize that the Bengals just fell all over themselves. So I think the Patriots can go in here. I think you guys can tell that's the way I'm leaning. So as for the official prediction, it's going to be Patriots winning today 23-17. I think they get the job done. I think at some point in this game around the middle, they're up about 2 scores, and they coast. Gets a little bit closer towards the end, but I think it should be a good day for the Patriots. Haven't started 0-2 since 2001, in a year that they actually won the Super Bowl, but I don't see it happening today. I think they're gonna rally. They're gonna get a few good plays here that they like. They're still finding their rhythm on offense, so I think it's a really big day for the Patriots. They definitely need it. And that basically wraps up the pod, guys. We're going to try to keep it pretty short today. This one's going up on game day, obviously. That's not my plan. I want to try to get these out on like Fridays or Saturdays instead. So I think I'm going to try to shoot these a little earlier. I had some stuff going on, couldn't get to it until right now. But thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Enjoy the game. Go Pats, and we will see you on Monday, Tuesday, sometime early next week to review this game and what is hopefully a win for the Patriots. So, have a good one, guys. Go Pats.